Hello, it's Romania Black, and we're on the next commission for my channel. And dear username123 has recommended this film that at first I was like, why are we getting? Why is this being recommended? And so, Before Sunrise from 1995, which is a live-action film, I was like, why are we recommending this? And then they said that it was a big influence for Tatsuki Fujimoto with Chainsaw Man and the recent movie that came out for that series. And I was like, oh. So, if you're familiar with my channel, I usually do reactions to anime, manga, Chinese donmai, donghua. You can go check out my channel for that. But I have a tier on my Patreon, you can check that out as well, where people can commission me to watch movies. And they can literally be any movie, like any genre, whatever. So I've had some live action movies from the 90s recommended before that I haven't seen, but I was really curious about this one. And then I've watched Chainsaw Man. I have reactions to it on my channel, and they said that this was a big influence for the creator. And I was like, well, awesome. You know, it's nice to see what has influenced the mangaka of the series that you watch. So this will be a very interesting time. So thank you, username123. I really appreciate your commission. That's awesome. But the only thing I know about this movie is that it's live action. It was made in 1995, and when I pulled it up to watch, I'm watching it through the free streaming service called Tubi. When I went to pull it up, I saw that Ethan Hawke is in it, and I was like, oh! If you don't know Ethan Hawke is an American actor who was in everything in the 1990s. He was in a lot of things from the 90s into the early 2000s. He still acts now. He's still been in stuff to this day, but he was like, it was his heyday in the late 90s, like really big heyday. So what we do on this channel with commissions is that since they are movies, since they are likely protected by copyright, we do subtitles. I do not have the audio because I want to protect my videos from being targeted by the old tube of you. And so we're going to have a link down below with some picture-in-picture reactions if you want to see a full picture, but you'll probably need to sync up if you want to hear the sound. So sorry, that's YouTube makes me do that. So anyway, we are going to have the reaction here as well if you just want to sync up and not have to go to another link, all that jazz. But then we're going to do the reaction to the movie and then come back and talk about it and look at some history of the film and some extra little goodies about it anyway. But I'm excited considering I've seen Chainsaw Man's movie, and I'm curious to see what influence we get to see on the screen. If you've not watched Chainsaw Man, I will try my best not to spoil, but you may hear me go, oh, and do stuff like that throughout. So also I talk throughout the movie and I'm loud. So that's going to be a factor. I hope you all are ready because it's going to be a fun time. But anyway, with that being said, I'm really excited. I hope you all are as well. We are going to get started with Before Sunrise from 1995. And we're going to be doing that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's begin. 1995, I would have been 7 to date me a little bit. So I would have been a ripe old 7-year-old. So was that probably 2nd grade? I was not watching this movie. This was not on my radar at all. Since this is from Tubi, there may be ad breaks in there since I'm watching it for free. If there are ad breaks, I will edit them out, so you will hopefully not notice them. Got my tea. Ethan Hawke, there we go. Julie Delpy, I don't know her. Anybody else I should know? Oh, is it just the 2 of them? Come on, train tracks. All the metaphor of a train. Before Sunrise. I know nothing about what this movie is about, other than that is a reference or influence on the Chainsaw Man series. That's all I know. That looks rural and familiar. Alicia Almuller. What an illiterate name. I like this bridge. Lee Daniel. Okay. Wolfgang Rammel. Man. Gernot. I'm trying to see if John Sloss. I'm trying to see if this is by anybody that I know. Richard Linklater and Kim Krazan. Richard Linklater's wrote a lot of things from the 90s, actually. Directed by McVeigh. Oh, look at that shot. That's cool. All the windows. Very cinematic. Oh, Richard Linklater. Yep. Okay. Man, the 90s vest with the shorts. Very 90s fashion. Uh, uh. I don't recognize her. I didn't check to see if subtitles were on. If they are not, I will change that real quick. Are they in Germany? I just figured at first there were people on the train, but it seems like the newspaper's in German. Oh, Ethan Hawke, my dude. The misunderstood poet himself. Girl's like, nope. Can't handle conflict. Gotta go. Look at him with his turtleneck and his book. Before the performative male agenda. He was really attractive. I mean, he's aged a lot, in the last 30 years. But he was really cute. In like a rugged, scruffy, like, Dodger from Oliver and Company way. I mean, yeah. If they did a live action Oliver and Company, he would be Dodger. Maybe. Okay, good. I'm glad we got subtitles. Oh, okay. Is she actually French or is she putting on a French accent? Oh. Ha! Oh, yeah! This book he has no clue about. Oh, me? Oh, just some light reading. Don't mind me. Did they just go have a quickie? I mean, man, smooth. He met her like 2 seconds later. He's like, you want to get out of this place? Smooth. Good for you, Ethan Hawke. Although, tuck that shirt in, dude. He was aggressively opening that train door. I've not been on a train in Germany. It's always LA. LA or New York. Nice. Uh. Ooh. Yeah. Oh. Whatever. Hmm. Hmm. Mm. I thought she was going to say she was dead. Oh. Just, I'd love to go to Madrid. So you just been on a train for 3 weeks? Ugh. What? How has he been able to just be on a train for weeks on end? We're going to talk about this. Oh, the 90s. Oh, the 90s. Oh, man, he's one of those. Man, what a 90s time capsule this is. Is Mr. Beast listening to this? Ooh. Oh, my. Oh, my. Interesting. Ethan Hawke being our wax poet. Oh, my. Interesting. Oh. Willkommen. Huh. Oh my. Many thoughts about this from the 90s. So, oh. There's a little bit of delay on there. Mm. Trying to make it, like, functional. Did you? Hmm. Interesting. I want to say something about Chainsaw Man, but I'm going to reserve it until the discussion. I have a different commentary that I think Lindsay Ellis made it about a lot of 90s films, especially 90s films made in the US in the 90s. Um, it's like there's a talk about privilege, especially with the protagonists, especially with like white protagonists in 90s films. That's I can see in this one as well, and we'll talk about it. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Oh, she had died. Mm. Hmm. 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 Mm. Ah. Mm. That's such a real feeling, though. Yeah. Oh, that's such a real statement. Ooh. That's such a real feeling, girl. Yes. I like how they got two actors. Like nothing against Julie and Ethan. They're both very attractive people, but they're not like Brad Pitt and like Kate Winslet. They're not like Zendaya and Harry Styles or something like that. Like they look very. I don't want to say average because that seems like it's downplaying that they're attractive, but they seem like people that you would see in real life. Like Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy, they seem like people I would see on a train. You know? And they just seem like they're have a very casual attractiveness. They're not like supermodels, but they are attractive people. But they feel real. Some actors have like a conventional beauty that you'd be like, I don't think they're gonna ah, here we go. Oh. What? What? Mm. There was like three red flags in that sentence. What? Huh. I am so fascinated right now to see where this goes. I wouldn't have said yes. I would not have told Ethan Hawke yes. I've been like, nah, I'm good. But I'm not attracted to Ethan Hawke, so, maybe that's why. The moment he's like, I don't have money for a hotel, I just have to catch up. Where was he going to stay at? If he didn't have money for the flight, to stay in a hotel before the flight next morning, okay, well, that is nice that he carried her bag. Okay, he gets brownie points. He gets some makeup points for carrying her bag, although he could run off with it. Where was he going to stay at? Was he just going to find a place? Jesse. Jesse James! Jesse and Celine. The new Jack and Kate. We're going to talk about that. I mean, good for you, Julie. Good for you. Good for you, Celine. Man, her outfit is very 90s. That plaid shirt with the over the t-shirt underneath the overalls. like a joke. Oh my god. You wouldn't believe us if we told you the truth. And by play, we mean in our sex dungeon. The cow's a bit weird. Like rabies? Like mad cow disease? Do you know the Prata? Everybody knows the wheel! He sounds like the Moonanite from Aqua Teen Hunger Force by the Prata. Everybody knows the Prata. That's a late night play. Bring me the... Is this going to be a very sexual play? I felt for a second like they were going to ask them to get involved in something that I would not get involved with strangers in. The bell tolling. I do want to go to Germany eventually. I have a former friend who I went to college with that lives there. I would love to go to Germany and see it. It's like an extended date. A smooth move, Ethan Hawke. That is not the question I imagine you'd start out with. Red flag. Is air. Oh. Oh. Hmm. Hmm. Ha. Dude. Okay. Oh. Yeah. No. Explain more. Exactly. Dude, don't double standard, dude. Oh. Hmm. Hmm. Love is a many splendid thing. Love is like oxygen. He just starts singing Ewan McGregor's song from Moulin Rouge. Oh my. No! Ooh. Ha! Girl. Nice. This lady's a real one. Damn, girl, yes! This is 1995 and this girl knows what's up. This is 30 years ago, y'all. This is 30 years ago, y'all. Wow, I love her. Her character's great. Hmm. Freudian slip. Since he's been traveling on them for 3 weeks. He isn't answering the questions. Hmm. Ooh. This is actually a really great concept for an anime, honestly. It's actually a really cool concept for a series. I kind of love that. The idea of us all being like fractions of people's souls, of the OG souls, I kind of love that, actually. Where'd they take their stuff? Like, where did their stuff go? Because didn't they have bags? Oh, Ella Fitzgerald. Gordon Lightfoot. Frank Zappa. Get some Bowie in there. Man, I love a good record store. Just gonna say, growing up in the 90s, love me a good record store. Hell yeah. Look at all them records. Look at all them vinyls. Sinatra. Or like vocal diverses. Dean Martin's greatest hits. Pick that up. Oh. Excuse you. Man, a listening booth. I don't think I've ever been in a listening booth before. It's very intimate. It's so small. Mm. Uh-huh. Hmm. I like that this is just like just this tension in the scene, like all the sexual tension between the two of them. Hmm. Nice. Nice. Get some architecture. Again, where did their bags go? Like, what did they do with them? They didn't have a hotel. She had a big bag and so did he. Yeah. Admittedly, the wanderlust in me would be like, kind of, oh, look, a little mini Rex rabbit. I don't think that's a native rabbit. Do Vienna have mini Rex? Hmm. Oh. Oh. Namenlosen. Friedhof der Lehmannhosen? Huh. Huh. Hmm. I like the Tiger Lily girl. Mm. This girl has like all the great insights, and Ethan Hawke is like Ethan Hawke. Or Jesse is Jesse, but she's great. Elizabeth. Mm. Okay, so she's 23. Hmm. I'm curious to see what this play is. I need to see this play. The 90s had a weird thing about like performing arts, and there'd be like, I'm thinking of like the interpretive dance, and she's all that. Oh. The Wanderlust vibes in me. I would love to just do like a backpacking thing across Europe like this. I am curious about the mystery of like, how is he able to just hike on a train for 3 weeks? Like, what is he paying it with? He says he doesn't have any money to buy a hotel, so is he just like a bum? Like, what's his reasoning of being there overseas? Like, she was visiting her grandmother, but what was he doing? Mm-hmm. If you're gonna make a move, dude, this is the chance. Yes. What if she said no? But she doesn't. Not bad. Not bad, Ethan Hawke. Ooh. Ooh. I really like that. That's a good scene. And then we go to this. Oh my god, we had to get that sexual tension out a little bit, right? We're 30 minutes into the film. We're a third of the way through. Come on, Benny Hill. Ethan Hawke. Mm. 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 Interesting. Hmm. That does make sense of his psychology, yeah, of why he thinks that way. It's a healthy process to strip it all down and tear it apart. Yes, girl. Hmm. No, you're fine, bud. Buddy. Hmm. Buddy, I cannot get that. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Yeah. Hmm. Ooh, that's a little bit of a cynical view. Ooh, we're getting a little bit of dissension between them, maybe. Uh huh. Uh huh. Call him out, girl. Call him out. Interesting. You can definitely tell his views a little bit more after that conversation, but we're definitely going to talk about that. Hmm. Klein's Cafe. You should don't even know where you're staying at. You're not smooth. Get a room! You can't afford it, that's right! We were talking about this on our vacation, my friends and I were. I was like, I don't know if I would get a palm reader. My friend's very spiritual, and she was like, I don't know if I want to invite that voodoo into my life. And I was like, I don't know. There's a part of me that would like a psychic reading, and there's a part of me that's like, what if they say something that would freak me out? Oh, she's stalking over, buddy! You made eye contact. You ought not have done that. I'd be like, ma'am, I did not give you permission. 50? 50 what? You better be working for this 50 girl because you ain't there yet. He ain't got 50 to give you, girl. That wasn't worth 50, girl. Dang, you got swindled. You got robbed. You gave $50 to that crazy woman. Oh, sir, what? I don't know. I think you're projecting a little insecurity, sir. His like cynicism is like a little uncomfortable. I love her. Like, Celine's character is great. I love her. No. Yeah. Red flags. Red flags. This man with no money is suggesting we buy crack. Haha. Funny, funny, funny. Mm. Her and I, we would have a great time. We'd go to art museums and talk all about it. He's like, I don't know what that means. She's like way more interesting than him. But other than him being cynical and talking about like his bad, like not so great childhood, he's very like private and closed off and doesn't want to talk about himself. And she's like giving us all this information. But like, girl, stranger danger. Do not tell everybody all this stuff about you without getting it reciprocated. Oh my god, is this gonna be a seance? Or are they going into a legit sex dungeon where a man's gonna be dressed as a cow? Man, that's such a cool cathedral. With all the candles. Hmm. Hmm. She's so fascinating. Her character is so interesting, and there's so much she says, and I'm like, yeah, I get it. That seems very accurate. That really connects. So you peaked in high school. Let's not get crazy, girl. Dude, do not try to make out with her in a church. Decorum. What a transition! Mm. Hmm. I do kind of get this vibe. We're going to talk about Chainsaw Man connections, but I do kind of get the vibe like I would never compare Jesse's character to Dingy, but there is like a quality of him in this that feels like out of her depth. And so I can kind of see the connection of what Fujimoto was doing with the characters in that series and these two characters. I can kind of see the connection. I can see the influence. Especially because she's more in a position of like not authority, but we kind of know she can walk away at any time and leave him. And that's sort of it's similar to the movie in a way with the characters. Yeah. So are they gonna go to the play? Oh, I like she put a jacket on. Huh. Oh. Oh. Mm. She's like, you haven't said a word about yourself. Uh, mm. Hmm. Oh. Mm. Uh, hmm. I'm glad she brings that up. Nice. Ah! Girl, yes, call him out. Call him out. Get him! Get her, Jade! Why do I feel like I know that actor? Run away! What are these people in Europe doing? We just have vagabonds roaming the streets. What do y'all have? Poets? Trading words? I also feel like there's a romanticization of the people who are, like, unhoused in this story. Yep, run away. Viennese variation. Oh my gosh. Huckleberry, I can't get that. Buddy, I ain't gonna see it. I think my dog has his toy. No, buddy. No. Buddy. My dog, I'm so sorry he's barking. Huckleberry, quit, buddy. Now he puts this up here for me. Oh my god. They didn't walk away far enough for this man to not come at him with the poem. Oh my god. Oh my god. What if they kept walking? Ha! Girl, he could pull out a knife. Why y'all just stand there letting this man read you a poem? Ooh. 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 I don't mind this poem. It's like a scene from Meet Joe Black. Y'all ain't gonna give him money after you stick around and let him write the poem? They gave the palm reader $50. At least that man wrote a better poem. I would have at least gave him enough to cover. You gave the palm reader $50 to say not nearly as much as this guy did. Dude, what is up with you? No, you're jealous of this poet. Are you jealous of this poet? For realsies? My dude. I mean... he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Dynamite for a hotel, but we got 100 shillings. I do kind of like the vignette style of this movie where it's just like bouncing from one moment to another. Kind of like you'd expect like on an adventure if you're traveling somewhere. Like my friends and I would walk down the streets of Memphis on Beale Street and you just duck into like a bar like this and there'd be live music playing and this would definitely be the vibe. Nice. There's just something about Ethan Hawke's character as Jesse that's kind of has this like negative vibe to him that is off-putting, but how progressive of him to have her by the beer. Oh, Milwaukee! That's the brand you want? My dude! Old Milwaukee. Ugh. Might as well get a Keystone at that point. Get it, girl. Merde! Shit! Ha! I would hope not if she's hanging out with you. Mm. 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 Oh. Ah. Oh. Oh my. This feels a bit projected. Yeah. Oh my god. Hey, it's just my diary. Huh. Are you drinking the same Milwaukee? Ha! She has a lot of discussions about death. Hmm. 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 I've never dated anyone, he says. Yeah, talk about it. Answer the question. Answer the damn question! Quit skirting around it. Are you a virgin that's been alone your whole life or not? Answer the damn question, sir. Mmm. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Oh. Mm. Mm. Oh. Oh. Mm. Oh. So he's handling this really bad. Uh. Lately! Nice. Hmm. Hmm. Sure. Hmm. Uh huh. She's like, I'll humor you in this. Not exactly agree with that girl. Mm. Oh, God. There's a reason for that. There's a big old reason for that. Yes, it's depressing. Thank you. I hate it. Yes. Hmm. Interesting. Ah! That's a transition. Aren't they supposed to go to this play? I want to see this cowman. The build up to the cowman play has been intense. What documentary are you watching, girl? I'm gonna be really disappointed if like the guy giving them tickets to the play turns out to just be a non sequitur and they don't actually end up going. I'm gonna be very disappointed. What is the purpose of the birth dance? What did you learn from the documentary? What was the point of this? Oh, it's to kind of loosen himself up. Hmm. Hmm. Like praying mantises. You keep bringing it up. Mm. Mm. She has some really profound things that she says, and his stuff is so cynical sometimes and kind of like, I don't know. I want to talk about it when we get to the discussion. Red, red flag. She's like, oh, so you're just in it for the ambition and. Hmm. Oh. Oh. She says some really profound things. I love her character. This movie's just people saying profound things as they walk around and mulling over, as they're doing tedious things, mulling these profound things. I really like what she says. He has like a negative cynicism to what he says, and it's a little like borderline sexist sometimes. That I'm like, go away, Jesse. We'll stick around. We'll stick around our sweet Celine. Yeah. And like all these people are doing the same thing that they did. They're just talking about life, saying things that are profound. Except this woman, she's by herself. Mm. What a prick! That tie. So Devo. Oh. They still have payphones, so I wonder if she's going to have to use one. Because they don't have a cell phone in this time period. Didn't take a lot of convincing. Hmm. That old great grandmother's ghost story. Ha! Yes. Ha! Damn, girl. Damn, she's good. No, girl. She is like the least manipulative and least mean. Damn. Okay, I can see some Chainsaw Man things in this moment. I can see that. Okay, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. I like she says ding ding ding. He says bring bring bring. Lisa. Hmm. Mm. And now I found a little bit out about why he's there. Rapturous. Would you tell your girlfriend that? Hmm. 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 Ah. Hmm. Hmm. I love this. Is probably my favorite scene in the whole movie. I love that. The phone scene is probably my favorite. Hmm. I would not be sitting on that balcony like that, sir. That's dangerous. Is that an innuendo? She just goes, poof. What about the play? I want them to go see the play. Oof. Mm. Mm. Oof. Ooh, here we go. He did say that at the beginning. Ooh. Uh-huh. Mm. Mm. Yeah. Ooh, I love this. I love this. I love how it's developing. Hmm. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay. Yes. Oh, man. I could see the influence. Wow. Okay. Also, this is just in general a really great discussion. Okay. Okay. Man, think about how in 1995 there were no apps, there was no cell phones, there was no FaceTime. They legitimately may never see each other again because of like the lack of technology. Isn't that wild? That's so wild. Like in modern times, this scenario wouldn't really be as feasible. Mm. Oh, see that side of him is much more endearing. It's so cool to kind of see like Germany in 1995. Wild. Again, the 90s without Venmo. What a simpler time 1995 was. Now it's just like, what? Girl. Didn't get the address to the bar. Might want to get the address to the bar. Hmm. Man, that would never work in modern times, you know? Are they just gonna, like, sleep in the park? That's crazy. That poet's gonna come shank them. Ooh. Damn. This girl's got it. Mm. 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 Well, no. Jesse, are you trying to make these obvious statements profound? Mm. Mm. It's interesting seeing him to be so. Yeah, it's interesting to see his insecurities on display. Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh. Huh. Mm. Yeah, that's one way. Yeah. You gonna do it in the park? How they ain't ate up by chiggers, I won't know. He's like, I can arrange that, ma'am. Yeah, exactly. Good. I'm glad you said that. Like, ask and you shall receive. Absolutely. Some cop comes by and he's like, get off the lawn. Get off the grass. Oh my god. The way he said that, he was like, okay. Mm. No, it's not just a female thing. No, it's not just that. He's like, I really want to screw you. Oh my god, dude. But you do. She said no. Hmm. Fair. Oh my god. Hmm. Didn't make it a successful marriage. Girl. The will they, won't they of it all? Well, for God's sake, don't have sex in the grass. There are chickers. I don't think you're making it anything complicated. I think that's a rational decision to not have sex with a man you've known for less than 24 hours. But, are they really going to have sex in the grass? In the German grass? In this Vienna lawn? Surely not. But did they? They're just like nude in the grass. He has a cigarette. A old woman's walking her dog. That's a walk of shame look. Did they? Did they? Oh, she put her hair in braids. What kind of dog? Mm. Oh, nice. I like that shot. That's really good. There's a harpsichord that was donated to the school I work at. It's I've never heard one played before, so that's really cool. Oh, she don't got her shirt on no more underneath that. Hmm. She looks really pretty with her hair like that. What a little adorkable guy. Mm-hmm. The pigeon's like, keep walking. Just keep walking. And we have the bell tolling. I like the callback, the callback to that. Just waxing poetry. It's what I do in the mornings. You would. You would. Hmm. 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 That was actually really good. Good for you. Mm. Mm. Oh, yeah, girl. This girl is speaking my language. Yes, girl, yes. I am like on point with this woman. Like her character, I am like vibing with so much. I would be her in that situation. Yeah. Oh, that's such a good shot. I love that. It's so pretty. That's such a great shot. No, they didn't. They didn't go to the guys with the cow. I was waiting for it. Damn it. I got so hyped. I wanted to see the cow play. Oh, wow. Where did their stuff go? Where did they drop it off at? Where did it? Is there a place in Germany you can just drop your stuff for the day and then come back and get it? Can you do that at the train station? Can you get a locker? Oh. 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 Damn. That was a kiss. It was a very intense kiss. That's an awfully long time. Nice. 6 months. Oh my god. Oh. 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 Wow. Later. Yeah! Yeah! Call it back, call it back, call it back. He has his moments. He has his moments. Oh. That was such a great build up. That was such a great build up. Great. Love that. Love that so much. Nice. And running the hand along the train. Nice. Damn. Okay. And love me a call back. Love me a call back. Ah, yeah, hell yeah. Great imagery from the start. They both were like assassins the whole time. His bag's like got a head in it. They were like murderers on different contracts. Oh wow, I'm going back to all the locations. That's so good. Nice, nice. Oh, I love that they're revisiting every spot that they stopped at. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Nice. Canada streets be totally empty. Ah, the old lady! She's like, what's this glasses and wine here? Used condoms. It's a pretty sweet adventure, bro. Hmm. Hmm. Nice. Okay. Nice. I don't think there's anything else in there. Cool. Heyo. Wow. Okay. What a movie. Well, that was an interesting movie. I ended up liking that a lot more when the movie started and we first met Ethan Hawke's character. I was getting like a little bit of like a little bit of a dark, unsettling '90s vibe with his character. But the more it went on, by the end of the character, I don't know if the lady that was giving the palm readings when she was talking about Ethan Hawke's character learning, I don't know if that was what she was talking about. But by the end of the movie, like from the moment they were at the bar playing the pinball machine and doing the phone conversations, from that moment on, I really, really, really enjoyed where his character and her character kind of went. And then the climax where they kind of come to the determination of their like being like, yeah, we threw caution to the wind, but now we really like each other. We don't want to just say we're never going to see each other again, and we don't want to ruin that relationship. Like, I really enjoyed that. Like, I liked the ending of the movie where it leaves it very open-ended. Like, are they going to see each other again? Are they going to change as people when they see each other again? Because that's a big possibility. Like, I liked that quite a bit. And apparently, this is the start of a trilogy. I didn't realize that, but we're going to talk about it. That Richard Linklater. I was trying to think of what Richard Linklater has wrote before, but he's that movie Boyhood that supposedly took like 12 years to make. It was like that was like the gimmick of it, the big deal of it. He's the creator of that film, and then he did Before Sunrise. Before Sunrise was actually his fourth movie. His third movie was Dazed and Confused. And I was like, oh yeah, Dazed and Confused, which is 1993, which he directed, wrote, and produced. And that's like a classic 90s movie. But then after doing Before Sunrise, he did School of Rock in 2003. He directed it. He did not write or produce it. But then the sequel came out in 9 years later called Before Sunset, apparently. And then he did Bad News Bears, A Scanner Darkly, which is Scanner Darkly is really good. And then Before Midnight was 9 years after that, right before Boyhood came out. And apparently that's the third film. So who knows? Maybe Before Midnight and Before Sunset will get commissioned someday. I don't know. I'm kind of torn because I really liked the way this one ended. I really liked just the fact that it was so open-ended and ambiguous, but they both kind of had like, they both seemed to leave amicably with the relationship, and they both were happy when it was over. I kind of don't know if I want to see Before Sunset or Before Midnight, because then I'm like, what if they turn out that they hate each other by the end of it? Then it's like, no. But so I don't know. I'm very torn. I'm very torn about that, but that is interesting. So that's how I know Richard Linklater. So let's just talk about this movie. Basically, Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy's character meet on a train, disembark on a trip to Vienna to spend the night together. It's such a romantic vibe. The idea of just, it's like a very fantasy film that you meet this amazing someone like on a train or on your travels, and you just decide to go have the night together. Like, I was like, that's a romantic premise in itself. Although, no offense, but Jesse's character was giving off some red flags throughout this movie that I was like, ooh, maybe not red flags. That's being a bit harsh. There's some yellow flags, some caution flags. I was like, that in real life, I don't know if I would have been on board with. So, inspired by his personal experiences, Linklater collaborated with Krazan, who previously appeared in his film Slacker and Dazed and Confused, to develop the screenplay. The casting was extensive. It took 9 months for Hawke and Delpy to be cast. The principal photography took place in Vienna. The plot is considered minimalistic. Yeah, it's mostly just dialogues and them talking together, which, I mean, I don't mind that at all. I actually ended up I liked the feel of the movie in that it very much felt like you're on a walk with someone and you're actually like it felt like if you've ever been on a vacation with someone and you're just exploring the town and going from place to place, and how your conversations kind of bop from subject to subject. Like, I just went on a trip a few weeks ago with a few friends of mine, and we spent a whole week just kind of like driving and traveling to different little places, and it did feel like that. Like, every place you go to, you have a different conversation about a different theme, and the subjects change, and this had that vibe, and it was nostalgic, it was interesting. It says the film explores themes and perspectives of life, love, time, death, self-discovery, and postmodern romance. My only, other than Jesse's character, which we'll talk about alongside with Celine's character, my only thing, there were a couple little things. If you've ever watched Lindsay Ellis, she does a lot of video essays. I really love her. She used to be called the Nostalgia Chick, and now she's Lindsay Ellis. She has a lot of stuff on Nebula. She does a lot of video essays. Her stuff is amazing. I love her perspective. But she talked about the film / play Rent, which she does not like. And I'm very indifferent about Rent. I've not seen it fully, but I've seen parts of the movie. Anyway, in her critique of Rent, you can go to that video to see where this is headed to in more depth. She talks about one of the things she did not like from 90s movies in terms of tropes, and that is the idea that a lot of these 90s white characters are very privileged, and they complain about their privilege and make it a problem because it's all about them, and it's a lot of entitlement, and there were hints of that in this, to the point where I kind of rolled my eyes and I was like, oh yes, you have so many troubles in the 90s compared to now. I was like, and we'll talk about that in a little more detail, but I was very much getting that vibe in certain little aspects of it. And a lot, like, I think the movie that she references a lot that she really doesn't like because of its like privilege status is Reality Bites, which I have watched parts of Reality Bites. Yes. God, Winona Ryder's character. Nope. I'm 100% in agreement on her character in that movie. But what it was getting at was this idea of sometimes they try to like have these lofty conversations in a movie and frame it as being really deep and intellectual. Like, there were a couple times where Jesse's character was trying to like wax poetry and sound very philosophical, but he was saying things that weren't very deep. They were just kind of like obvious observations, and you're just kind of like, yeah. What I'm trying to say is, I would not have been wooed by Jesse. I would not have been wooed. I would have been like, oh, you're kind of mid. I've been like, oh, maybe I have high standards. Maybe I have really high standards. Maybe the bar set high for me, but I would have been like, he kind of struck me as a guy through parts of it that was like trying to sound like he was poetic, but it was just not. It felt like he was really trying hard, and I was like, dude, you don't have to try so hard. But anyway, we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit, but. Basically, the plot is considered minimalistic. Before Sunrise, it premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in 1995 and then was theatrically released. Yes. I will say this movie, as far as the aesthetic, it did a lot of really good things. I loved the book ending of the bell tolls, the book ending of her coming in and out of the train, the book ending of them like being individually separate and then they're together and then they end up separate at the end of the film. Like there was a lot of nice symmetry and circular poetry throughout the film that I thought was really effective, and I loved that. I was like, mwah, there we go. We watched In the Mood for Love on this channel a few weeks ago, and I felt like that movie as well kind of had a lot of similar thematic cinematic elements, which were really fun to see on screen. But yeah, really nice. So on June 16th, 1994, so I guess it would be 2004, would be 10 years later. There you go. So I guess the sequel happens a decade later. Jesse meets Celine on a train from Budapest, and they strike up a conversation. Jesse's going to Vienna with a Eurail pass to catch a flight back to the United States, whereas Celine is returning to a university in Paris after visiting her grandmother in Budapest. I mean, it's happening in June. So in Celine's case, one thing that was interesting is that we find out a ton about Celine. We find out about her grandmother, her parents. We find out about her hobbies. We find out about her interests, about her homicidally, the shrink that thinks she's homicidal. We found out a lot about Celine. And so Celine being on holiday from university and visiting her grandmother, that all makes sense. We do find some things out about Jesse. The fact that he's kind of like, comes from a broken family, has a very kind of cynical view on a lot of things. He went to go visit his girlfriend in Madrid and broke up with her. The thing that I want to talk about with the 90s that kind of like floors me now, and it's something that Lindsay Ellis talks about in her videos, is that like in the 90s, I loved growing up in the 90s. For those of you that are 80s born, 90s raised, children like me, which was a great time. Now, for adults in the 90s, probably not as great of a time. But for us kids, it was like awesome. But I was wondering the whole film, I'm like, what does he do? Like, I kept wondering, like, what does he do? Like, she's a student at a university. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But I'm like, he's able to take off for 3 weeks to just get on a Eurail and just ride on a train and bum around for 3 weeks. Like, so he doesn't have a job because you couldn't just take off from your job for 3 weeks. So he doesn't have a job, meaning that he doesn't have a steady income, meaning it doesn't sound like he's bumming off of his parents because he talks about them being divorced and them not having a lot. So I'm like, he doesn't get anything from his parents. He doesn't strike me as a rich guy who has a lot of money, because he says he doesn't have a lot of money because they can't stay in a damn hotel. They have to stay on the grass in a park in Vienna for the night. We're going to talk about that. But I was like, what does he do? And it's just kind of this 90s thing of people were just wandering around. Don't worry about how we get from A to B. Like and I don't want to call it privilege, but there's just like a very odd, like, just we're able to do this. I guess it is privilege, but I was so confused. I'm like, if he doesn't have the money and he's just kind of bumming around with this Eurail pass, and he's like, his friend's also taking care of his dog while he's gone. And so like, he has to go back and tell his friend like, oh yeah, I could have came home earlier. Cause he admits later that he made the flight out because he didn't want to go home. So he didn't care about his dog. He left his dog with this random friend that's like, oh, sorry, bro. I was going to come back and take care of my dog, but then I decided I was feeling sad, so I just stayed in Europe for a couple weeks. Hope that was cool. Like, a couple weeks feeding a dog is a pretty extensive thing to do. And I was just sitting there the whole time, like, while this movie's going on, being like, Jesse's kind of a jerk. Like, I didn't mind his character, but I was sitting there being like, nope. As it went on, But yeah, so when they reach Vienna, Jesse asks Sling to disembark with him, saying that in 10 or 20 years down the road, 10 years is going to be before sunset, 20 is going to be before midnight. Interesting. She might not be happy with her significant other. Other might wonder how her life would have been if she'd picked somebody else. Alternatively, she may just realize Jesse himself is not that different from the rest. Well, I guess you'd have to see the sequels to know if that ends up being the case. So yeah, and this is just me and my opinions, but in the movie, it's framed as like this romantic fantasy of like, oh, wouldn't it be nice to meet this stranger on a train and you two hit it off and you just spend a romantic night in Vienna, just roaming around the town and having all these wonderful conversations and falling in love and all this. But there was also some kind of like red flags, or maybe like I said, some yellow cautionary flags that I was like, ooh, I don't know. Like, I would never do this with just, first of all, random guy on train that is hitting on me, that is like spouting off all this poetry stuff. Like, I need to get to know you first. And if I just met you on a train, like, it would be cool if you were like, hey, maybe if you're in town later, we can meet up later or do whatever. Or, you know, hey, if you have time, do you want to get off and just hang out and stuff, and we'll go from there. But him being like, whenever he was like, let's spend the night together, I don't have money for a hotel, I've been like, oh no, we're good then. Because I mean, like, in this day and age, like, girl, no offense, but in this day and age, if a random guy's just like, oh, I don't have money for a hotel, but let's get off together, I'm gonna be like, no, my safety, dude, sorry. And that's the sad thing, is that we don't live in the 1995 world where you can get away with doing that and not end up dead in a ditch. You know, that's, women worry about that every day. And I'm like, I'm like, if you didn't have money to rent a room for the night, I guess because he's flying back, I'm like, just the financial insecurity of it. I'm like, maybe it's because I'm older too, and I'm like, I need you to be on top of things. So yeah, but the whole no hotel, I grew up on a farm. I have slept on a hay bale before. I'm not above it, but I also would not sleep on the ground. Like, no. No, thank you. So yeah, the wiener reason rod, I said that totally wrong. Every German's like, pfft. The Ferris wheel kiss was really cute. I think that Chainsaw Man, if we're talking about Chainsaw Man really briefly, again, I don't want to do spoilers. There's like a telephone booth scene in that movie that I feel draws inspiration from when they're in the record store and they're in the record store booth. I think it draws inspiration from that. Also, the dynamic of, all I will say is the dynamic of a guy who's way out of her league, interacting with her and her kind of falling for him. I see the inspiration. And the fact that it takes place like over a night, I see the inspiration. I get it now. I'm all on board. We can comment down below and talk about Chainsaw Man, the movie. Talk about the movie. I don't know spoilers. I haven't watched anything past the movie or read anything past the movie, so please no spoilers to the manga for Chainsaw Man, but I am anime only. We can talk about that down below there, and about how it relates to this film. I think that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, so they share the kiss. The kiss at the end on the train was really good. They were like snogging each other. There was some snogging going on there, some serious snogging. I thought that was really, really well done. And it was kind of cool to see a lot of Vienna landmarks. That was really neat. And the conversations that they were having, I feel as if there was some interesting parts with Jesse's character. First of all, the lady reading palms for like 50 shillings or whatever she was charging. Hell no. She was charging way too much. And I feel like at least the poem man gave them something they could keep. She just was so vague and archaic. I was like, no. So they're approached by a man who offers to write them a poem with the word of their choice. And they choose Milkshake. And they're presented with the poem Delusion Angel, written for the film by poet David Jewell. Okay, so an actual poet, like, wrote it. That's nice. And then, yeah, Jessie was really cynical, like, with the fortune teller, which, you know what, I would have kind of made fun of her, too, for spending that money. But I would have said it in, like, a ha-ha way. Instead, he was kind of, like, chastising her. And I'm like, dude, I've known you for 12 hours. Do not. And then when he was kind of, like, you know, it was almost jealous of the poet when he was being all cynical about it. And she was like, oh, it's really beautiful. And he was like, he probably just already had that pre-made. He just kind of, like... At times I wanted to tell Jesse's character, I'm like, do you know how to read the room? Because when she was like, oh, that poem's so beautiful, I really liked that. And he's like, you probably already pre-wrote it. I was like, wow, way to dampen the mood instantly, you wet blanket. Like, come on, man. But I guess part of the movie is them discovering their likes and dislikes, and part of it is also that they're very open and honest with each other, whereas there's not that pressure of establishing a long-term relationship because they think that they're just going to get together for a night. So they're honest and open with each other, which in turn, ironically enough, lets them build a deeper connection than they probably would be if they were legitimately dating and being too nervous and insecure to be themselves, right? That's one of the things they talk about in the film, is that Jesse's character has always felt insecure, which you can tell on screen with his character. And he finally like is able to open up to Celine and be himself because he's not under that pressure to establish this long-term relationship. So yeah, they both talk about their exes, and Celine, her thing is that, you know, she loved too much, and then Jesse seems to be that he was too insecure to love. So there's that kind of like clashing between the both of them. But yeah, so again, they go to this cafe and they stage these fake phone conversations. That's probably my favorite scene in the whole movie, was when because it was such a great exercise in them being able to tell someone off screen their thoughts about meeting the other. Like, it was a really cool exercise in them getting to know each other, but also exchanging perspectives. And it was this neat communication between them of their first impressions of each other, but done in this really cute way. The phone conversation is my favorite in the whole movie. I absolutely loved it. Yes. And so Jesse reveals that he just wanted to escape from life, and that's why he's been traveling on this Eurail for 2 weeks instead of going home. Again, how you can afford to do so for 2 weeks and what you're not doing at home I would be asking that. If I was Celine, I'd be like, well, do you have a job? If you don't have a job, I'm sorry. As romantic as one wants to be in this day and age, you have to have some sufficient income to live. If somebody wanted to date me and they did not have a job, nope. I am not going to be your source of income, my friend. So yeah, no. But yeah, they admit their attraction to one another, and they're like, well, we probably won't see each other. I like that the cafe restaurant, they do the secret handshake to be like, let's make a pact that we'll just do the best that we can tonight. And what I liked about it was all the things that they did that night were very like realistic things that any actual person would do. Get the bottle of wine. Although the man that gives him the bottle of wine, like, he just donated that. I think he knew he was not getting paid back. Like, also, I want to say that this movie is such a great time capsule of the 90s because, like, there was technology. There was to an extent, but, like, you don't see any computers in this film. You don't see a cell phone because they didn't exist. Or at least they weren't, the commoners didn't have it. There wasn't things like Venmo or PayPal or stuff like that. So there's all these little like lags of technology that I think Gen Z wouldn't get. So you're watching a time capsule when you watch this movie. I grew up in that, but you're watching it right here and now. But yeah. And so, okay, when they're talking about whether or not they should have sex, Celine did not want it to just be a one night stand. And Jesse, I felt like Meatloaf was playing in the background, like the Paradise by the Dashboard Lights. I felt like that song was playing in the background the entire time. It is implied that Jesse and Celine had sex in the park. I don't know how I feel about that scene, to be quite honest, because she was very adamant that she didn't want to be a one-night stand, that she did not want it. And then what I hate about that scene is that she's like, well, maybe it's just a woman thing. I'm like, no, that's called consent, and that's called you're not comfortable with sex, and that's okay. No is no. And we know that now, 30 years later, that is a cultural norm, but he almost kind of coerces her into having sex, and then she's like, oh, but maybe I don't know, maybe it's just me. And I'm like, on the one hand, I want to slap her and be like, you said you didn't want it. Like, if you want it, you want it, but if you don't, you don't. But then on the other hand, I'm like, if a girl tells you she doesn't want it, don't push the subject. The subject ends there. You're either okay with it or you're not. And if you're not, walk away. So I don't know. From my own experience, I don't like the fact that he basically coerced her into doing it afterwards. Or if he coerced her into doing it, I hate that. if she was wishy-washy and was just kind of leading him on, I hate that too. So that scene made me a bit uncomfortable. But also, it would make me uncomfortable, like having sex in a park. Like, there could be millipedes and bugs and shit. There's could be ticks. No. Ew. Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't care I don't care how handsome he is, what he has done or offered for you. If he didn't have money to buy a hotel, he ain't getting nothing. Maybe if he gets me a curly fry, maybe a handy J. Maybe. I just be like, no. But yeah, they did have a very walk of shame type vibe as they were walking back. But yeah, and then they decide that they're not going to exchange any contact info, but meet at the same place in 6 months. Now, considering that the sequel happens 10 years later, I don't know if that happened or not. We're led... We don't know. We don't know at all. We do not know. Let's see here. So production-wise, as far as that went, it was inspired by a woman named Amy Lerhop, who Richard Linklater met in a toy shop in Philadelphia in 1989. They walked around the city together, conversing deep into the night. In 2013, Linklater revealed that Lerhop had died in a motorcycle accident before the release of the sequel to this movie. That's insane! Oh my god! Wow. So he wrote the movie like, almost 15 years later after meeting this woman and then found out that she died in an accident. That's crazy. Wow. So originally in the screenplay, who the two people were in the city they spent time in was vague. Linklater realized that because the film is so much a dialogue between a man and a woman, it was important to have a strong female co-writer. He chose Kim Krazan, who had small roles in his previous films. According to Linklater, he loved the way her mind worked, a constant stream of confident and intelligent ideas. I definitely get the vibes of Linklater influencing Ethan Hawke's character and Krazan influencing Celine's character. Honestly, a lot of Celine's ideas and things that she talked about, I was really vibing with. I was like, yeah, her conversations about death and mortality, her conversations about love and wanting to be loved and like the feelings that you feel when certain things happen. Like, I know I said that at times the movie wants to be profound when it's just saying kind of obvious things, but there were parts of her dialogue specifically that I thought were pretty deep and I did really, really enjoy and connected with, which was really cool. His conversations, not as much. He wanted to explore the side of the relationship and discover two people who had complete anonymity and try to find out who they really were. He decided to put Jesse and Celine in a foreign country because when you're traveling, you're more open to experiences outside your usual realm. Yes, absolutely. So they wrote this screenplay in 11 days, which is wild. But as far as authorship, this part here, before I started this discussion, I read it and I was like, this part here was rather interesting. It says, Linklater spent 9 months casting the film because he had trouble finding the right actors for the role of Jesse and Celine. When he first considered casting Hawke, he thought the actor was too young for the part. He saw Hawke at a play in New York City and then reconsidered. Probably why he had him have the facial hair to make him look a little older. For Celine, Linklater met Julie Delpy and liked her personality. After the final reading, Linklater knew they were the right ones for the roles. They agreed to do the film and went to Austin to talk with Linklater and Krazan for a few days. In 2016, Delpy told Creative Screenwriting, Ethan and I basically rewrote the entire script. There was an original screenplay, but it wasn't very romantic, believe it or not. It was just a lot of talking rather than romance. Richard hired us because he knew we were writing, and he wanted us to bring the romance to the film. We brought those romantic ideals, and that's how we wrote something that actually got made without getting credit for it. But if I had written before Sunrise and been credited, I doubt it would have been financed. That's so insane. So basically, according to Delpy, her and Hawke rewrote a large portion of the film, but they weren't credited. I still would have been like, I want some credit. In 2019, credited screenwriter Kim Krazan disputed Delpy's claims that the actors rewrote the entire script. Linklater and Krazan are credited for writing Before Sunrise, while Delpy and Hawke are credited for co-writing the sequels, and Krazan credited with the story credit Before Sunset, and characters created by credit on Before Midnight. I mean, do I think that Hawke and Delpy probably rewrote the entire script? No. Do I think that there's a very good chance, like, why would you lie about that? Why would you lie about that? I think Krazan was trying to cover herself maybe so that she wouldn't have to like deal with like the, oh, you didn't give them credit or something, because that's a pretty big claim, you know. But that is interesting. I mean, in a lot of movies, actors ad lib, or like Harrison Ford, you know, the infamous "I love you, I know," like that's an ad lib from Harrison Ford that he told George Lucas would work better in the film, and it did. Does that make Harrison Ford like a co-writer on the movie? Well, no, but you know, you give credit where credit's due. So as far as themes go, the wiki says it largely revolves around the twin themes of self-fulfillment and self-discovery through a significant other, charging the concept through the introduction of a 12-hour time constraint in which the goals implicit the two themes have to be realized. They are underlined by the poem Delusion Angel, which evokes a longing for complete and unifying, possibly even redeeming understanding between two partners in a world which itself is unknowable, over which one can exercise no control. I think that was something that Jesse's character kind of seemed to struggle with, is that he wanted some kind of stability and control in his life. Because when he talks about like his parents separating and then his girlfriend breaking up to him, with him, there's this idea that he doesn't have control in those scenarios, and thus he doesn't know what to do. And so he's trying to find some kind of stability. Whereas with, and that's kind of, what's interesting is that even though Celine and Jesse seem like very different characters with different personalities, they both have this end goal of wanting some kind of focal point of stability in their lives. And throughout the film, through their conversations, they both kind of come to realize that. And then when they're on the train at the end, and, you know, the whole thing that started out as something spontaneous, by the end of the trip, they're like, well, no, we like each other. We don't want this to just remain spontaneous. We want to have this relationship to go further. We want to kind of root it into the ground. So I thought that was really cool. I liked that. Nice. An important role is played by the theme of spontaneous and uninhibited response to one's environment. It's reflected by the actions of Jesse and Celine, whose joint stream of consciousness, it initiated by the previously unmeditated decision to leave the train together, allows them to temporarily detach themselves from the world and enter a realm where only the other's company is of importance. Come morning, Jesse remarks that he and Celine have entered into real time again. Yeah, I like that too. I like that it kind of, you know, we learn in creative writing classes that streams of consciousness is a form of narrative writing. And it's basically where you just, this would be a great example of stream of consciousness. If I was teaching a whole lesson or a unit on this, this would be a great example of it, because it's literally just, well, this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and this happened. But they're not exactly sort of cause and effect. Because like normally in a plot of a story, you have kind of a cause and effect format. Well, because this happens, it leads to this. And then this leads to that, and da-da-da-da. And there's like a thread tying them together in a narrative. But with stream of consciousness, instead of just like being tied together by a thread and it's leading you somewhere, you just kind of bounce from cloud to cloud. Or you flow like a stream down a brook. Like you're going a direction, but that direction isn't really predetermined by anything else. You're just kind of flowing through it to get to it. That's stream of consciousness. And it's kind of like when you have a dream and it goes seamlessly from one part of the dream to the next part. And it makes sense, but there's not really a destination preordained. You don't know where it's going. That's stream of consciousness. And I liked that about this movie, because it did feel like a bunch of little vignettes and you didn't exactly know what was going to come next or where it was going to end. So I liked that a lot. But yeah, and then at the end they kind of like come out of Wonderland and they're back in reality. It could be argued that Before Sunrise subsumes its main themes under that of life. In one scene, Celine and Jesse visit the Friedhof der Namenlosen, the cemetery of the nameless. The people buried in the cemetery have found anonymity in death. By learning to know and understand one another, Jesse and Celine experience and embrace life, suspending their own mortality. Ooh, I like that a lot. Yeah, because that is a really good theme, because at the beginning, you know, Celine is questioning a lot about life and death and what are we doing with our lives? Have we wasted this time? And then Jesse's character is like, well, you know, he quotes Thoreau, and then I was like, okay, Mr. Poet, but whatever. Where he talks about, you know, time being suspended and everything, and time being a thief and all of that. So yeah, I like that a lot. That's a really good theme to bring up. The film leaves the audience members to decide for themselves whether Jesse and Celine will meet again in 6 months. Oh, okay. It says that critic Robin Wood has written that after he published an essay on the film in a 1996 issue of Cine Action, Linklater wrote him to say that, quote, neither he nor the two actors ever doubted that the date would be kept. Oh, interesting. So yeah, so the film had really good critical reception, which I can totally understand that. I enjoyed the film a lot. I do think that I liked Jesse's character as the series went on, as the film went on. I liked his character a lot more. I especially liked like when they're up, like whenever they're in the restaurant talking about, you know, him just savoring this time with her. Like I thought that was really, really good. Although I liked her character so much. Like Celine's character in this, she was great. Loved that. But yeah, there were a couple discussions, I'll be honest, like sometimes when they were talking about like women doing things and men doing things, I liked that they got to the point of saying that like we've been having these conversations for centuries and we can't ever come to like a definitive answer. I did think that that was pretty poignant. I thought a lot of their conversations got to some really good points. It's just the way that they got to those points sometimes, like with Jesse's character. I felt that a few times he was maybe a little sexist, and I was like, oh, it's 1995. But overall, I really liked it. And I liked that Celine did not hold back. She did not let him. I liked that she pointed out if he was being a jerk, she was like, hey, you were treating that poet weird, or hey, you were kind of getting onto me with that psychic, like what's going on? And I like that about her character. I like that she did not take any shit. She was like, no, we're going to talk about it now. I'm like, yes. She does bring up a good point about wanting to be this strong, independent woman, which is so funny. Some of the conversations they have in this movie, I was like, oh my God, we're having those conversations years later. But she was like, I struggle between being this strong, independent woman and also wanting to be loved and to be soft and to have someone by my side. And those are real legitimate, you know, things those are legitimate concerns to have. And those are legitimate, like, things to be thinking about as a woman. And Jesse's character is kind of like, yeah, it's hard to be a man too. I wish he'd gone into more detail because I think he could have talked about like toxic masculinity and stuff, but he almost seemed to be kind of entrenched in that at times. And so, but maybe that was Linklater's writing and they just didn't catch it in 1995. It's interesting. But yeah, I really, really thought this was a great movie. I can definitely see the Chainsaw Man inspirations. I'm glad I saw it. I can't believe that I grew up in the 90s and saw a lot of 90s movies on display, but this was not one that I had ever heard of or seen. So I'm really glad, username123, that you recommended this because otherwise I never would have watched it. So I really enjoyed this film. I thought that it was well done. I thought the execution of it was great. I really liked the two leads and the main characters. Like I said in the reaction, they were very believable in both of their roles. So I'm curious to know what you all think down below about Jesse and Celine's character. I'm all on board Celine. Jesse, he won me over by the end. I was a little skeptical of him at times, but he won me over. Celine's character, girl can get it. So I'm curious to know your thoughts down below. Thank you, username123, so much for this commission. This was great. And now I've learned a Tatsuki Fujimoto point of reference. Yay! So anyway, we've got some great movies coming up for the rest of July, so I hope you stick around on Fridays. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please make sure that you do, and that way you won't miss any of the videos coming out on Friday that are commissions. And I hope you make sure to like the video and comment and let me know your thoughts about this reaction. But anyway, I also hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe, take care, and yeah, I'll be back very soon with more reactions. And I'll see you then. Bye.